Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the October 28th edition of Carolina Week.
Election day is closing in. We'll introduce you to Carborough's candidates for mayor.
I'm Helen Buchanan, and I'll tell you what the town is doing to prepare for Halloween night.
In sports, senior soccer players make their last stand at Betzer, and what the football team needs to correct to beat Virginia Tech.
Weathercaster Joe Belanger will tell us if these nice temperatures will stick around in time for Halloween.
All that and ghosts at the Carolina Inn.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
The face of local politics is about to change. Good evening, I'm Bethany Tuggle.
And I'm Chris Neal. Thanks for joining us. In less than a week, we'll have a new mayor in Chapel Hill and could have a new one in Carrboro, too. Julianne McKellogg has been following both races and has this look at the candidates for the top job in Carrboro.
Mark Chilton, Amanda Ashley, and Brian Voice make up a diverse ballot for the race for the Carrboro mayor seat. Chilton is the incumbent.
Well, first of all, I'm by far the most experienced candidate who's running this fall.
Amanda Ashley is the political novice.
I'm not performing as a politician. This is not a career move. I'm simply speaking as an interested citizen.
Brian Voice is the businessman and community activist.
I think what sets me apart is I've sort of been in the ground zero of all the swirling issues for Carrboro.
But they find common ground on issues such as environmental preservation and business development in Carrboro. Voice believes the current town government isn't properly addressing business needs.
We're trying to increase the commercial tax base. You've got to change the attitude of how you bring people in. And quite frankly, I think I'm the candidate with the best background and aptitudes for making that happen.
Ashley wants to be sure Carrboro citizens benefit from the town's financial resources.
Instead of propagating itself, towns should exist for the well-being of its citizens.
And Chilton hopes another term as mayor will help advance his greenway and bike path initiatives.
I'm really proud of the sidewalk construction and bike lane construction work we've done over the last 4 years.
But they all have different reasons for seeking the position.
There's a different way of governing, a different way of paying attention.
And Voice's motivation?
I have a very busy life. I don't need this, but I had a number of people who asked me, quite frankly, to run.
Chilton's passion for the environment is what inspired him to first get involved in politics in the early 1990s.
I really believe that the American landscape is an amazing place, and it's a place that needs to be preserved and protected.
With less than 1 week to go in Carrboro's race for mayor, candidates are using grassroots campaign tactics such as going door to door in hopes of filling a seat here at Town Hall. In Carrboro, I'm Julianne McKellogg, Carolina Week.
The election is next Tuesday, November 3rd, but you can vote early at Moorhead Planetarium until Saturday at 1 p.m.
UNC has earned a national reputation as one of the country's most environmentally friendly public universities with award-winning energy, water, and transportation initiatives. Students and faculty celebrated Campus Sustainability Day Tuesday in the Union's Great Hall. Many visitors signed a Carolina Green Commitment Pledge as an incentive to become more environmentally friendly. Students learned about energy use in dorms, calculated their environmental footprint, and even powered light bulbs by pedaling on an energy bike. The university has also released the Sustainability Report for 2009 during the celebration.
Students had the opportunity to gain a little more insight about the state of university affairs Tuesday afternoon during the Chancellor's open house. Chancellor Holden Thorpe spoke with students and answered their questions in the first of 4 open houses scheduled for this school year. More than 60 people attended the event and took advantage of the free refreshments. Questions covered the budget and tuition increases, Greek life, and the South Road Bridge proposal. Students had the opportunity to question the chancellor about a variety of lighter topics as well, including what he's going to be for Halloween. His response, he might go as Beauty and the Beast with his daughter.
If you haven't gotten your Halloween costume yet, you only have 3 days left. Halloween and more at South Point Mall is preparing for the final rush before the big holiday. The store has the always popular costumes like fairies and superheroes, but what are this year's trends? Past fads like nurses and politicians are out. This year, people are dressing up as Transformers and their favorite superheroes. The King of Pop and Hannah Montana are also popular costumes this year. No, it's not Halloween just yet, but for several members of UNC's Dance Marathon, Monday was a chance to trick or treat early for kids who can't. About 30 members from the organization knocked door to door, but instead of asking for candy, the student volunteers asked for donations to UNC's Dance Marathon. The organization is the largest fundraising group on campus, and all proceeds from the event go to North Carolina Children's Hospital.
In only a few days, costume crazies will descend on downtown Chapel Hill. Campus and town leaders are refocusing their efforts to make Halloween on Franklin a more community-friendly event. Helen Buchanan joins us now live in the studio. Helen, it seems like they're being a little more cautious than they've ever been before.
They are, Chris. That's because many students, residents, and officials feel that in recent years, the Halloween celebration has become more and more of a problem. The raucous celebration of Halloween on Franklin Street reached 80,000 people in 2007. Reports of crime and other safety concerns led town officials to implement a safer solution last year, what they call homegrown Halloween.
When the crowd gets too large on Franklin Street, I don't think it's that much fun. When it gets so congested and so crowded, when you feel unsafe, when you feel threatened, that diminishes the quality of the event.
Public Information Officer Catherine Lazorko says a smaller crowd, like the one last year, makes for a safer Halloween. And some students say a more enjoyable experience.
I feel like when I first got here, it's a little bit overwhelming with either some people would bring kids, which is kind of uncomfortable, or some people would be like adults just like standing on the side watching, which is also really uncomfortable.
Making the community feel comfortable is what Homegrown Halloween is all about. In hopes of keeping the affair more localized, officials' plans this year include street closures in the downtown area, no parking, no bus traffic other than the safe ride buses, turning away new patrons at Franklin Street bars at 1 a.m., and reopening streets at midnight. Several items are also banned from Franklin Street, including alcohol, weapons of any kind, glass, paint, fireworks and explosives, animals, coolers, flammable substances, and any costume items that could be considered harmful. Officials say they don't want to put a damper on the fun, but there will be about 300 police officers on hand to keep things safe for everyone.
Okay, Helen, the time change is taking place on Saturday night. I have to set those clocks back an hour. Will this affect the celebration on Franklin Street at all?
Not at all, Chris. The time change happens at 2 a.m. and officials hope to have the streets cleared long before then.
All right, thanks, Helen Buchanan. Town officials also advise you to stay away from homegrown Halloween if you have any symptoms of the flu. Bethany, imagine finding out at age 26 that your whole life, everything you've known has been a lie.
We'll meet a man who suffered that trauma and examine the impact it's had on his life since.
I'm sick of dealing with you. I'm sick of
I work 6 days a week. Who do you think you
Stand
are?
up straight. Don't you ever talk back to me again! You just shut up!
What are you crying about? Brat?
What a child learns about violence, a child learns for life. Teach carefully. We can show you how. Act Against Violence. Call 877-ACT-WISE for a free brochure.
I don't want to eat. just one bite.
I don't like it.
Tick, 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 tick. Massive heat waves.
Heat waves.
Severe droughts.
Tick, tick.
Tick, tick.
Devastating hurricanes.
Tick, 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 tick. Our future is up to you.
Tick.
Go to fightglobalwarming.com while there's still time.
Now we continue our series about the work of Las Abuelas, a group in Argentina dedicated to finding as many as 500 babies stolen during the country's dirty war in the 70s and 80s. Tonight, we meet one of the found grandchildren. Juan Cabandier was born in a prison cell 31 years ago. Juan's parents, Damian and Alicia, were among the 30,000 people seized by the government during Argentina's military dictatorship. The 17-year-old Alicia was pregnant with Juan. 20 days after he was born, soldiers took Juan from his mother, who he would never see again.
There are no traces of my mom, the same as every pregnant woman and most of the people who went through that detention center. She's disappeared, the same as my dad.
Here inside one of the main secret detention centers, which Argentines refer to as ESMA, Juan's mother, along with up to 5,000 others, were detainees during the 7.5 years of the military dictatorship. A police officer and his wife illegally adopted Juan. The people involved in the disappearance and probable death of his biological parents were the ones he'd call mom and dad for the next 26 years.
Y además yo tenía durante esos años, que fueron 26 años que yo viví con una identidad falsa.
During those 26 years in which I lived with a false identity, I had many uncertainties, emotional instabilities, and at some point I started to try and figure out why I was so anguished, so depressed, so emotionally unstable.
That's when Juan came to Las Abuelas de Plaza de Mayo, a group dedicated to helping Juan and others like him find their true identities. A DNA test would change his life forever. Estela de Carlado is the president of Las Abuelas and says it's not easy to learn the life you've known is a lie.
La respuesta del niño cuando era pequeño era de dolor, de shock.
The response of the child when they were young is of pain, shock, when they found out that their mother and father were not their real parents, that they had other parents, that they had another grandmother looking for them.
For Juliana Garcia, the search has been to find her missing sister. Juliana was just 3 when the death squads killed her father and took her pregnant mother. In February, the search was finally over.
Me tocó y la encontré.
I found her. I still can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's wonderful.
Juan can relate to the joy Juliana feels. It's been 5 years since he met his real family for the first time and says there's such relief in having finally found the truth.
Y además de la felicidad por haber encontrado mi verdad.
Ultimately, if I hadn't found it, I would still be in a sea of doubt, of uncertainty. So it was an extra happy moment to know my origins, the triumph of the truth, and to meet my family.
Now a city councilman in Buenos Aires, Juan has created a new life for himself. He no longer associates with what he refers to as his fake parents and refuses to even speak the name they gave him. Next week, we'll meet a recent UNC grad who until 2 years ago knew nothing about the dirty war's impact on her family.
With job interviews and job hunts gearing up in the anticipation of the May graduation, a program at the Carolina Women's Center is helping make sure everyone has a good shot. The Styled for Success program started last spring and has seen an increase in applicants this fall. The program pays for interview clothing and travel for UNC seniors and second semester juniors who receive financial aid. An alumna wanted to make a direct difference in the students who started the program. Private donors also helped to fund it.
It's Residence Hall Association Week, and dorms across campus are sponsoring events to enhance community and residential life. The Cobb Community Government, General Alumni Association, and Big Brother and Big Sister teamed up for this year's Residence Hall Association Week to bring a little bit of pre-Halloween fun to local children. Haunted houses and Halloween-themed events are just a few of the activities taking place this week. The Cobb community chose to invite children to decorate bags, eat snacks, bond with mentors, and trick-or-treat around the halls of Cobb Dorm.
All right, Bethany, today was a wonderful day. Felt really warm, so much different from yesterday, the cold, rainy day. I'm happy about that.
That's right, and we have Joe Belanger here to tell us what we can expect for the rest of the week. Joe?
Yeah, guys, it was beautiful to have the sun back out today, especially after those rainy days we've had the past 2 days. Coming up after the break, we'll see if that sun will continue into the weekend and for your Halloween night.
Introducing the all-new Enclave. It's a minivan to the max, with features like remote control sliding rear doors, 150 cable channels, a full sky view roof, temperature-controlled cup holders, and the 6-point navigation system. It's the minivan for families on the go.
To you, this is a place to make macaroni and cheese. To someone else, it's a way to make a kid sorry for what he did. Preventing child abuse and neglect doesn't just mean reporting it, it means stopping it before it starts. Find out how at preventchildabuse.org or 1-800-CHILDREN. A child is helpless. You are not.
Oh, hey, John, what's up? Nothing, I'm just at Carrie's. It's just me and Carrie. John, it's just Carrie. I'm hanging out with my friend. I'm not doing anything wrong, John. John?
What'd he say this time?
He's just stressed.
It's not okay for him to treat you like that, Jess.
Speak up. Just because it isn't physical doesn't mean it's not abuse.
Hey, welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Joe Belanger here to take a look at the rest of your week ahead. First half of the week, we had a lot of rain, very gloomy weather, but that has departed the area and the sun has returned, and we're looking at a very tricky Halloween coming up. We're expecting some rain. I'll tell you exactly when that rain's coming in just a moment. If we look at the U.S. satellite, you can see there's a lot of cloud cover over most of the country right now. Right here over our area, though, you can see that it's pretty clear, pretty dry. That's what we saw today, and will continue into tomorrow, unfortunately. If we look at the radar right now for the country, you can see that up in the New England area, there's that rain that we had yesterday. Our region's pretty dry, including the Midwest. What we're really concerned about right now is back here over the mountain region. There's this very strong system. It's dumping about over a foot of snow in areas like Denver, and that is making its way eastward into our region. Should get here by the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday. I'll tell you when to expect it in just a moment, depending on what part of the state you're in. As for our rain totals here in the area, you can see that over the past couple days, the Outer Banks got about a little over an inch. That was from the system on Monday that came over from the coastline. Down in Charlotte yesterday, they got about 1.5 inches. That storm system up in New England really hit them very hard. Here in the Triangle region, we got spaced out between the two, so we only got about 1/3 of an inch, so that worked out well, but we still had those gloomy conditions. Now, looking ahead to your Halloween forecast, for the western part of the state, you can see this is where our biggest concern is right now for the rain. We are expecting rain to hit that area by Saturday night, especially in places like Asheville. Charlotte's about 20%, Greensboro 20% as well. High temperatures, though, and clear day during the day, so that's great to see. If we go ahead and look at the eastern part of the state, you can see that it's much better news over there. Wilmington's coming in at 81. Their record's 85 for that day. So really warm temperatures, a great day to be outside trick-or-treating. At night, you can see partly cloudy skies, a great night to be out as well with all your costumes, any other activities you have going on. Back here in the Triangle region for your Franklin Street forecast, you can see that UNC, Duke, and NC State all have 80-degree highs during the day. Very clear clear skies for the most part. And then here at night, you can see partly cloudy skies as well. Will cloud up a little bit more as as the night progresses. For tonight, you can see that the skies stay clear, that we've had above average temperatures with your low around 54. For tomorrow, you can see that the high will be around 70 with partly cloudy skies as well. And for your 5-day forecast, you can see that Friday it clouds up again. Saturday clears up nicely though, which is great news for that Halloween forecast. Sunday, there's that rain that we were talking about. But overall, guys, it really looks to be a great Halloween weekend.
That's great. Thanks so much, Joe.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, Joe. How would you like to take home a new kitty just in time for Halloween? Take a look at our pet of the week. There she is. Take a look at Rosie. Isn't she just a cutie? She's a 5-month-old domestic short-haired kitten who'd love to be your new best friend. Her beautiful multicolored coat is soft to touch. She enjoys playing with her fishing pole toy and loves eating treats. Rosie also enjoys attention and loves to cuddle. If you'd like to adopt this friendly feline, you can find a link at carolinaweek.org.
Well, you know, Chris, Halloween isn't until this weekend, but the football team's performance last weekend was just scary.
It was. Simone Scott joins us now in the studio. Simone, got a big time game tomorrow night. Hopefully the boys bring their A game.
That's right. We couldn't quite pull out the win last week, but I'm having a good feeling about tomorrow.
Yeah.
After the break, another Thursday night football game for the Heels. What they need to do differently to have a nicer outcome this time.
This is Mommy's bed. Me and Jenny were jumping on it. Mommy's gun fell on the floor. I was a cowboy. Bang, 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 bang. I said, Jenny, wake up, it's just pretend. But she wouldn't wake up.
Don't tell me to calm down. I hate that.
Stop acting like an animal. You're in public.
I will knock you into next week. Stop it. No, I'm not gonna stop it. That's it. We are leaving
like an
right now. We are leaving right now. Get up. Susanna, I said we're leaving.
Football plays on Thursday night for the second week in a row, this time against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. And as Nick King tells us, there are more questions than answers about this Carolina team.
The Heels hope to capitalize on the excitement that goes with the Thursday Night Lights exposure, as they did early last week. In the first half, the Heels pulled out all the stops, a halfback pass, and a direct snap to running back Sean Drone. The defense responded as well by flying all over the field. Huge hits from corners Denoris Searcy and Kendrick Burney left FSU receivers dazed and confused. When Big Marvin Austin forced a turnover and TJ Yates hit Ed Barham for a score, fans literally went bananas to see a Tar Heel team scoring points again. But the team can't afford another second-half meltdown. Against FSU, the wheels came off for what was the #1 ranked pass defense in the country. FSU quarterback Christian Ponder had an absolute field day. Big play after big play stacked up, a few of them being touchdowns, and before you knew it, Carolina was only up a point. Butch Davis knows the Virginia Tech QB, Tyrod Taylor, is a little bit different than Ponder, but the big gainers are still aplenty.
He has the capability to flip that ball down the field very accurately, as well as he can burn you with his legs.
Another thing the Heels can't afford is playing not to lose. Up a point with most of the fourth quarter to play, UNC called 3 straight drone runs from the FSU 17-yard line, including on 3rd and 5, before settling for a Casey Barth field goal to go up only 4 points. The way Ponder and the Noles were moving the football, it was only a matter of plays, 4 to be exact, before they struck again to take the lead. The Heels then moved the ball to FSU territory before completing a 2-yard pass to Greg Little on 3rd and 7, and then chose to punt. Coach Davis knows the defense especially is hurt after last week's performance, but they can't afford to stay down.
I think anybody's pride, certainly when you don't do something as well as you'd like to do it, I think it maybe refocuses you.
So, as the Heels prepare for what should be an even bigger Thursday night game, they'll need to remember they can have two halves of fun football. At 0-3 in the ACC, there's nothing to lose now. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nick King, Carolina Week Sports.
The Heels will look for that elusive first ACC win at 7:30 tomorrow evening when the game kicks off on ESPN. Now, this young gun might still be in high school, but Coach Roy is hoping senior baller Harrison Barnes will be calling Carolina home very soon. Here he is, and he's got some serious game. This kid had Coach Williams and Duke's Coach K in his living room in Iowa, only hours apart from each other. ESPNU ranks Barnes the #1 prospect in the nation. He made his official visit to Carolina in September for the alumni game. What a game that was. And Barnes visited Duke this past weekend. He says he'll make his final decision in mid-November. We'll let you know when he does, but he can play the D, handle the rock, and drain from downtown. The men's soccer season is winding down, and for seniors, it's their last chance to make memories. This past weekend at Virginia Tech, senior Jordan Gray scored the first goal of his career to give the Heels a 1-0 win. That victory leaves the Heels at 10-2-2 for the year, with only 3 games remaining. The final home game for Gray and the rest of the seniors is tonight at 7 p.m. The boys are hosting Stetson. Now, as the weather outside gets cooler, the action is heating up in the pool. Junior swimmer Joe Kinderwater is the Progress Energy Performer of the Week, the first of the season. And after the men's swimming and diving team win against Georgia Tech last weekend, Kinderwater picked up wins in both the 1,000 and 650-yard freestyle. You go, Joe. All right, guys, so tomorrow night, we're going to do it.
We're going to get it. We're going to get us a win. First conference win. Thanks, Simone.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, it's one of the most famous landmarks near our campus.
And some of its residents are always ready for Halloween. We'll explain.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
He'll be a senator with integrity.
He has my family's future in mind.
He cares about young people.
He's a hard worker.
He's focused.
Effective. I believe in Old Relish Packet.
We need a condiment with values.
He'll represent us well in Washington, and he is so good looking.
Old Relish Packet and I were trapped 50 miles behind enemy lines. He saved my life.
This message paid for by Citizens for Old Relish Packet.
If you're not voting, then who are you electing?
When I have an asthma attack, I feel like a fish with no water.
Learn how to prevent your child's next asthma attack, because even one attack is one too many.
Go to jail for a gun crime, and your family serves a sentence with you.
One of the most recognizable landmarks here in Chapel Hill might be haunted.
Dandria Young has more about this pre-Halloween ghost story.
The Carolina Inn is one of the most popular locations in Chapel Hill, not just for the living, but maybe even for the dead. According to Mark Nelson, the inn's resident ghost is believed to be Dr. William J. Cox, who lived in the hotel from 1948 to 1965.
We definitely have our own little Casper the Friendly Ghost running around.
Who apparently liked to play practical jokes in life and more so in death, like turning the lights on and off in the suite or locking guests out of the room, forcing maintenance workers to climb through the window. And according to one report, a maintenance worker was locked inside the suite and couldn't get out. His key wouldn't work, the door wouldn't open. Eventually, they took the door off its hinges. A team of paranormal researchers came to investigate the hotel. Not quite. Haunted North Carolina Paranormal Research and Investigation spent 4 hours investigating the Carolina Inn.
I think we've got enough evidence to say that, you know, the EVPs that we have gotten leads to believe that there's something going on here, something paranormal.
Despite the ghost stories, the Carolina Inn continues to draw visitors, some alive, some not. In Chapel Hill, I'm Dandria Young, Carolina Week.
That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a safe Halloween. We'll see you next time. Good night.